Michigan Soccer Central.
Hello, listener, and thank you for pressing play on the latest edition of the Michigan Soccer Central Podcast, your weekly dip into the world's game being played right here in the Great Lakes state of Michigan. How's it going? My name's Robert Kerr, here with you on the show. As always, lots to celebrate here in Michigan soccer. On the show this week, I got two great interviews on the tail of his fifth straight state finals appearance. I've got Grosse Ile boys varsity head coach Jon Evans, as well as Calvin Knights women's coach Emily Ottenhoff. They just completed an undefeated season and are on their way in the NCAA tournament. So two great interviews on the show this week. But first, let you know a little bit about what's going on, a little bit of headline action here. Some success to note as the Michigan Stars won the NISA championship game at Romeo High School Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Looked like they packed the place with a whole lot of youth soccer players and were able to come out victorious 1-0 over Albion San Diego. Michigan State women made quite the achievement. They went 16-2-3, qualifying. They got a ticket to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2009. What a job first-year Spartan head coach Jeff Hosler has done. Truly remarkable. They will be hosting Milwaukee at DeMartin Stadium on Friday evening. So a lot of success going around the collegiate teams here in the Great Lakes State, as well as a NISA championship. So Michigan-based teams dominant in the MIAA. Also want to mention high school boys state championships champions were crowned this past weekend. All four divisions got winners. Division I, Rochester Adams, congratulations. They won 2-0 over Rockford. Division II was played in Novi. Richland Gold Lake beat Cranbrook Kingswood 1-0. In Division III, Holland Christian 2, Grosse Ile 0. And in Division IV, also played in Novi, Muskegon Western Michigan Christian 1, Ann Arbor Green Hills 0. So congratulations to the champs in 2022, Rochester Adams, Richland Gold Lake, Holland Christian, and Muskegon Western Michigan Christian. All right, without further ado, this week's feature interviews with Grosse Ile boys varsity head coach Jon Evans, followed by Calvin Knights women's head coach Emily Ottenhoff here on the Michigan Soccer Central Podcast. All right, next up here on Michigan Soccer Central, I guess I'm very excited to speak to on the tail end, the quiet times after the storm of the Michigan boys high school playoff season. When I saw this note come across the Michigan Soccer Central socials, I had to get him on to talk to him. I got coach of Grosse Ile High School, who just made their fifth state final in a row. And to talk a little bit more about it, I got head coach, Mr. Jon Evans. Thank you for joining us here on the Michigan Soccer Central Podcast, sir.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, like I said, you just had your fifth final in consecutive years. Quite a season. Just kind of scanning over your results, it really looked like you got hot at the business end of the season this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think hot and healthy kind of coincide here, to be honest. We started out the year severely unhealthy. players with some health issues, illness early on. And then one player specifically, Drew Cardinal, our center forward, was returning from ACL surgery. And actually the only match that he played the entire duration was actually in the final. So kind of as he got healthier and got more minutes on the field, along with a few other players, we started to turn some results the other way. And I don't think the first half or even first 2/3 of the season really does our team justice.
So you felt like you really became the team you would have wanted right there at the end then?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like at some point in time when the results weren't necessarily going our way, the league kind of became secondary, and the focus was then focusing on the playoffs and hopefully being able to come away with 3 trophies, which we did. But unfortunately, the last one wasn't the bigger one that we were after in the end.
So let's talk about it. You brought it up. So on Saturday, the 5th of November, your 5th final in a row, you faced against Holland Christian, who became the State Cup champions after a 2-0 result. Kind of walk us through how that game went.
Yeah, we probably knew going into the game that they were going to be the aggressor and probably dictate the play to us. They're a very good possession-oriented team, and we knew that they were going to have pretty good spells of possession. We had, wind gusts up to even higher than 40 miles per hour in our face in the first half. So we got through the first half, first 40 minutes, 0-0, limiting chances on goal. We actually had 2 decent chances on goal ourselves. And I think we kind of knew going into it that, we weren't going to score more than 2 goals, and we were probably going to be sufficient with just 1. And if we were going to win the game, it was only going to be 1-0 because they had only conceded 4 goals on the entire or 7 goals, on the entire season. And, we were going to get the penalties at 0-0 or win 1-0 in our opinion, and 2 goals on them was probably going to be a stretch. But, they kind of got the best of us in the second half. Unfortunately, we actually ended up conceding on 2 set pieces on 2 corners. After the first one, we tried pushing players forward because we knew we were going to have limited opportunities on goal. And then, the game kind of got away from us when they were able to seal the deal with the second goal with like just around 10 minutes remaining in the game. But, tip our hats to them. They're a very good team. They won it for a reason. And, you don't like to lose by any means, but we lost to a very respectable opponent for sure.
So your Grosse Ile side, when it was fully assembled and healthy, kind of described your opponents in Holland Christian. How would you describe your own side when you were at full strength?
We actually every year's been a little bit different, and every year at the end of the year, like even somebody told me the first year that we got there, just enjoy the moment, and because this doesn't happen and very often. And now, hey, look at us now. We're sitting at 5 in a row. If you asked me 365 days ago if we would be here coming off of 5 appearances in a row, I probably would have said it's highly unlikely. But we had a mixed team this year. We were led by our 6 seniors, one of which was Hayden Watson. He's actually an outside back for us this year, but in the 2 previous final appearances, he's actually been our goalkeeper. So he played on the field as an outside back, and it's pretty unique. We don't have a very big junior class either, so the lineup was pretty much mixed of a bunch of seniors and sophomores that started to gel as the year went on, and I think the sophomores really grew into their roles and the expectations and the standards that we set, and started to get settled in, and even seemed a bit more settled in than I would have thought, even in like a state semifinal and a state final. And I think just as the year progressed, those players got stronger, and now hopefully we can get a big, good off season out of those guys to try to get back there again next year.
What was your highlight of this fall 2022 season?
I think, especially if you look back at our schedule, there was a week where we ended up losing 2 league matches in a row, which has never been done. And they were 2 away matches at Milan and New Boston Huron, who aren't easy opponents as is. And, every league match is always going to be a little bit more difficult. But I think after those 2 losses in a row, We did have a good handful of injuries and kids out on illness at that time, but I think people probably counted us out that we would never even make it that far. But I think the highlight in all of it is, being able to put together 8 wins in a row, 6 of which were in the postseason, and being able to get back to the final. I mean, we were just, one moment away from putting a goal away on Holland Christian and being able to hold on. But, it's difficult. And I think, 2 of the best teams in Division III were able to face off in the final. And, we're happy that we were there, but obviously we're not going to settle for second place. So hopefully we can come back stronger even next year.
With your kind of mixed classes in the team this year and some promising underclassmen, so there's a possibility for the team to keep progressing and maybe go one better in 23?
Hopefully it's all going to depend on the next 9 months ahead of us, to be completely honest. And, my last 2 words last 2 sentences to the boys is always going to be, it's not, what we're doing in August through November, but it's going to be what we're doing in November through July that's going to get us to where we want to be in the following year. So, we'll put together an off-season plan for the boys as they head off to, their club teams. And some of them are multi-sport athletes and don't play club soccer, but hopefully, the goal is to continue to improve and then get more athletic, bigger, faster, stronger, so that we can continue to compete in Division III.
What were those 2 sentences you left them with again?
Just that, it's not what we're doing during the season from August to November, but what we do during the off season from November to July, which is going to help us get to, hosting trophies and winning games during the season, and it's the things that we do in the off season that are going to make that happen.
With the season so compacted, you pretty much have to be in shape when the season starts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if everyone knows high school soccer, like even with just our league, we play on Mondays and Wednesdays. So, we typically try to train on Sundays, play a match on Monday, prepare again on Tuesday for a match on Wednesday. And then, Thursday through Sunday is essentially recovering, because 2 matches in no matter of 3 days is very difficult on the body. So there's, very little time for us to be able to, implement some fitness into training and be able to get the kids more fit, unless it's through playing, which at that point in time, if you're playing to get fit, you're probably playing guys that shouldn't be out on the field anyways, because they're struggling, which can be difficult. So, just with the compacted season and so many matches during such a small period of time, it can be difficult to, get more fit and bigger, stronger, and faster throughout the season. So we got to do that during the off season.
What remedies do you think there could be to not have such a double up sort of a schedule?
Yeah, I think pretty much the only possibility is if we went to either like a Wednesday, Saturday schedule, Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday, where we can actually have 2 recovery days in between at an absolute minimum, ideally 3. But, it's really beneficial, at least during the state tournament, that the final and the semifinals played on a Wednesday, and then the finals played on a Saturday, and you get a good 2-day, 48-hour period to recover.
In your tenure at Grosse Ile High School, you've gone to, like I said, or like we've discussed, 5 consecutive finals. What could you credit that to reaching the final game each year?
I think the biggest thing is just the commitment from the players and, making sure that everybody's bought into achieving the same goal in mind, and, what they do during the off season to be able to, make the regular season that much easier on us. And, our players' attention to detail, and making sure that we really know our opponent going into the game and making it as easy as possible so we know what to expect when we get there. I think has been one of our strong suits to date.
And then when you arrived there, what sort of condition was the program in? Or were you continuing success from before, or has this run to the finals 5 years in a row been a step up?
When the position came about, and in my interview, I was hopeful that I could help get the team over the hump. I believe that I'm not sure exactly. Mike DeSana was the coach prior to and he had made it to at least one semifinal. I think he may have made it to two semifinals where he won regionals twice. But, ever since 2002, when Grosse Ile won it in their only appearance before I took over, we just wanted to get back to the final, and that was the goal. If you would have asked me 7 years later if we would have made it to the finals 5 times out of 7 years, I would have said you were crazy. But, we've kind of found our way and helped really establish ourselves again in Division III. But to date, I think we have like 14 district championships in a row, and now obviously 5 regional championships and 5 state final appearances. But the first 2 years, we lost in the regional final. So we've always kind of made it pretty far, but never quite got over the hump. And now we've been over the hump a few times, and hopefully we can keep doing this as we move forward.
The 2022 season now over, you take a bit of a breath, but I know that you have a couple other roles within the soccer world. What do you do now?
So now I'll transition to club soccer. A lot of kids actually at Grosse Ile don't actually play in our club. We only have a handful in a few different age groups, at least at the high school level. But I am the club director at Detroit City FC Downriver. And I'll start coaching some of the high school boys teams as we transition into the winter months and then into the spring later on. And then come January, we'll start an off-season plan with Grosse Ile.
Very interesting. So it doesn't really slow down. It just changes gears and goes indoors?
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of even overlapped a little bit. We try to give the players that have ended their high school seasons opportunities to be able to play, starting with the week of regionals after districts. So, we're in our 3rd week technically of club soccer, but I didn't start up until this week, actually.
Well, Coach Jon Evans of Grosse Ile boys varsity, congrats on making it to your 5th consecutive state cup game, and all the best moving forward. Thank you for joining us here on Michigan Soccer Central Podcast.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Hey guys, this is Zoo from Michigan Soccer Central, one of your co-hosts covering all soccer in Michigan, from amateur to professional, men's to women's. I'd just like to take a little bit of time to talk about Anchor, which is the service that we're using to produce our podcast. It's a free service that you can find online or in the App Store. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes the podcast, so something really cool there to go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other services. So you don't have to worry about distributing it yourself. And you can make money from these podcasts. So there's no minimum listenership, and you can activate those sponsorships on there. All in one place, it's everything you need. So all you need to do is download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thanks.
Welcome back here on Michigan Soccer Central. Very excited for our next segment. Our next guest just celebrated tournament victory in the MIAA after an undefeated regular season. Second-year head coach Emily Ottenhoff now joins us. Congratulations, Coach, on a great season. Your side won the Michigan Soccer Central We Are Soccer Team of the Week last week for the undefeated regular season. And then since arranging it, you won on Saturday to win the tournament as well.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. So 2nd year at the helm of Calvin Knights. What last year could you see the success happening of going undefeated and then winning your league and tournament?
Yeah. Well, actually, this is actually my 5th year at Calvin. So just starting my 5th season. But as we've gone along here, I thought we could have a better season this year than last. Last year was kind of a next step for us, and I think this year is the same thing. Just trying to take steps forward each year of getting a little bit better. And did I think it would be undefeated? I no. But I think we felt like if we took it every game and each game at a time, that we'd be able to potentially get a result in a lot of those matches. So it's been a good season, and looking forward to what's coming up for us.
Apologies. I think I might have been reading some old notes, but 5th year in the program, well established. I saw that you yourself went there. But to get to this point on Saturday, November 5th, we're just 24 hours after it. You beat Trine 1-0. That sounds like a tight affair. Kind of walk us through that victory.
Yeah, we had a close match with them earlier in the season, a couple weeks ago. Also a 1-0 game. It was kind of a windy day yesterday, weird weather, and it's postseason soccer, so you can't expect just any sort of anybody running the other team over or anything like that. It's always going to be a tight match, and so it was a good match for us. I thought we started a little slow. We also were going into the wind. I think I underestimated the first half on how that was affecting us. And then I thought we came out of the gate in the second half a little bit harder. Honestly, both teams had good chances. Trine's a really good team, and we knew that they would put some dangerous chances on goal. But in the end, Sophie had a really great cutback inside the box and put it far post, back bar, and was really excited to see her celebrate that goal. She scored quite a few last year and has been struggling to score in the past couple weeks. So it's a big moment for her and for our group. It was a complete team effort for us.
It looks like you had a lot of shots in the game. You had the advantage 19-12, and it took usually like a moment of quality. It sounds like a banger of a goal there in the second half by Sophie Mueller.
Yeah, we put a decent amount of shots on goal. I think we need to work on our shot on goal percentage, but yeah, we had a couple slide through the box in the first half. Just mistimed some things. Thought we could have crashed into the box a little bit better, but in those moments, Sophie was a conference MVP for us last year as a sophomore, and so relying on her to make a moment happen, and her teammates were putting some press on as well. So relying on her to make that moment happen was a great thing for us.
Tell us a little bit about your program. The Calvin Knights, obviously in 2022, you won the MIAA regular season undefeated with just one draw, and then now you've won the tournament. For those who don't know, Calvin College is on the Grand Rapids. Is it in Grand Rapids itself, or is it in the surrounding area?
Yeah, we're in Grand Rapids. We're just on the southeast side of Grand Rapids.
And so you've been with the program quite a bit. Like, how does your team play, and kind of what's the history or the pedigree of your program?
Yeah, so we've had a good history in our program. We've won, I think this is now 13 conference titles. That's more than anybody else in our conference. We've been to 3 Elite Eights. We've had conference MVPs and All-Americans in our program. And in taking the program back over, now as the coach, I was a student athlete in the program. The goal has been to kind of reestablish us back to some of that success we had, and then try to take it further. So I think this is all just, this season has been another step towards that. Like I said, we've had really good seasons. In 2006, we went 22-0-1 and lost in penalties to go to the Final Four. In 2015, I think they won about 18 games and lost in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. So yeah, some really good history, and we say, standing on the women's, shoulders of those who came before us. And so, like I said, trying to reestablish this and then send it further than we've ever been. Takes a lot of work to do that. That doesn't bother me. I'm going to try to go after that, but really excited for our women this year to be, champions again and be able to participate in the NCAA tournament again. So
what now does winning the tournament unlock going ahead? Because the season's not done yet.
Correct. So tomorrow at 2 will be a selection show from the NCAA, and we'll find out where we're headed or if we're hosting, who we're matched up with. And in our tournament, you have kind of pods of 4, and you play that out for a weekend. So 2 matches in a weekend. And if you advance, you get to the next weekend of that, and then so on and so forth. So excited to see what our next step is. And I know our team's really excited to see that tomorrow.
Oh, very exciting stuff. So on Monday, November 7th, this will probably come out after that. And by the time it's posted, you'll know your next opponent. I guess for those who haven't watched you play, what's the style that your team is really playing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it changes. I think we call it kind of decision based. What's available. We're not just going to be passing it side to side. We like to try to score goals. I can tell you some days it looks like that, and probably some days it doesn't. I think each match that we play presents different challenges. Yesterday trying didn't high press us, and so took us a little bit to figure out how we were going to try to get through that. We're a pretty good team in transition. And so they weren't sitting in, but they weren't coming at us as high as they did the first match. And so yeah, trying to figure that out. And I think trying to teach our women how to read that and try to make those adjustments on their own. So like I said, decision based. I love watching our team score goals. And so we're going to try to send people forward and slot balls through the box to try to score as many as possible. And this year we happen to be pretty good in the air. And so we've won a lot of corner kicks, which we've scored off of a number of times, and then got a solid back line. And so we haven't allowed a ton of goals. That's allowed our attack to really, maybe not put as many shots on goal or be as efficient as we maybe need to be in other times. But each team is different, and you try to figure out the way that that team each year is going to win games. So that's been our formula for this year.
Which team so far on this unbeaten run has made you work the hardest, or was the hardest to overcome?
Oh man, there's been a lot of different types of challenges. Like I said, each team presents a different one. Our conference is really challenging. Going on the road to Adrian was difficult. We drew that match. It was raining. It was sideways wind, and they came at us really hard. Hope College has a really athletic team, and obviously that's a rival of ours. So that game is always a good one. And trying, obviously, 2 1-0 games. They've been very good. Trying to think, non-conference University of Chicago is always a perennial powerhouse type of team. So that was a different type of challenge for us. So a handful of them there. Like I said, our conference is, there's a number of teams that could have slotted in and won the thing. So to be able to come out of that, I told our team if we could do it, they would have done something really hard. So yeah, a couple of those teams are probably the ones that stick out in my head.
You've been at Calvin for a number of years in a number of roles, player, coach, assistant. What's been the thing that's kept you there for so long?
Yeah, well, I was there as a student athlete, and from 2006 to 2010, I went away and coached at some other schools. I decided I vocationally wanted to be a coach. And then obviously thankful that the opportunity came back at the right time to come back to Calvin. And honestly, coming back, just a place where, one, I already kind of had some blood, sweat, and tears put into it. I played 2 sports at Calvin. And so I bleed maroon and gold, and I love it. So that's a big piece. But being there, it's a place where we can compete on the national level. It's not easy to do that at every school, and we've done that pretty consistently across the board in all of our sports. And so that opportunity, coupled with the idea that, I had an awesome experience at Calvin, and being able to facilitate that for my student athletes made it pretty enticing for me to come back. And, exactly what I felt it could be. I thought we could, compete at a high level, and we're on our way of building that back up. What's
your style as a coach? Are you tactical minded? Are you a real rally the troops type of a coach? What's kind of your profile at a glance? If you self-analysis here.
Yeah, well, if you probably ask my team, they'd say I'm pretty serious when it gets to soccer time. I love what I do, and I love winning, like most coaches do, and so it's pretty direct. It's kind of what it takes to win the game, and what it takes for us to continue to improve. I feel like once I get off the field, I'm fairly easygoing and enjoy being around our student athletes. I'm not that old. They think I am, but I'm not that old. And I can still feel like I can relate a bit to their time in college. So, like I said, pretty direct and business-like when it's soccer time, and hopefully pretty easygoing when it's not. I take my job really seriously as, trying to develop our women on and off the field. So if it ever comes to something about that, I'm going to take that part really seriously. And, I know that there's a lot of life after their 4 years here at Calvin. So trying to help them grow and develop and push them to be the best they can be and reach their potential as student athletes and as women.
Is that the most rewarding part then?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, like winning games is a lot of fun and that's rewarding. I really like college kids. They're fun to be around. It's been really cool, over the past day, seeing some alums, putting on Instagram, hey, proud of our team, and, some of the work that they put in, seeing some of them get jobs or being at their weddings. Those are all fun things. Just being able to be a small piece in their story of their life is fun. I imagine a lot of coaches would say that, just being part of that journey, because it's such those 4 years there's a lot of change that happens in their life and a lot of growth that happens. So being able to be one of those people is kind of fun.
That's awesome. Thank you for describing that so well. The rewards, because it's a very challenging position to be charged with, guiding young people as well as trying to teach them an activity all at the same time. There's a lot of facets to it. So thank you for describing that. So what, in this little slice of time here where you're in the NCAA tournament, but you don't know who you're going to play, how far do you think this team can go?
Oh man, I'll be honest, and you're going to say this is coach speak, but and it is. We've literally just tried to take the games as they come. I think the NCAA tournament is challenging. Every team is the best, right? Is either won their conference or has been, has won a ton of non-conference matches, and so you really can't predict that. I think to win in it, you've got to come to play each game and probably have a little luck as well. I think you don't have to beat everybody in the field. You just got to beat the team in front of you. You don't have to beat all 64. So I'll be honest, we're just going to take it one at a time and hope that on each of those, matches that we come with our best. And, soccer, it's super unpredictable. It's probably one of the more unpredictable sports out there. So who knows, maybe it'll be sideways raining during our match and it'll be, really difficult to get a result. So like I said, we're going to take the games as they come and see if we can get a result. That's how we've kind of done it all year.
Well, I wish you all the best. I hope tomorrow is an exciting time when you get the draw for how your opponents are going to look, and then all the best the rest of the way, Coach. Coach Emily Ottenhoff, thank you so much for joining us here on the Michigan Soccer Central podcast.
Thanks, Robert, and thank you so much for the coverage this season. It's been awesome for our team.
That almost does it here for the Michigan Soccer Central podcast this week. I wanted to note that the Calvin Knights, since that interview, drew Nazareth. So they are going to make their way all the way across the country, and they're going to face Nazareth in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So good luck to the Knights of Calvin making their trip to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to face the Nazareth Golden Flyers in the NCAA Division III Women's Soccer Tournament. Also want to mention the We Are Soccer Michigan Soccer Central Team of the Week, Madonna Men's. Congratulations to Madonna Men's for being this week's We Are Soccer Michigan Soccer Central Team of the Week. If you want to get your team nominated, send a direct message to either We Are Soccer or Michigan Soccer Central accounts. And the two entities, we share a channel. We chit-chat back and forth all of the nominees that are sent to us externally and internally. And we always like to give flowers to those teams that are doing well on and or off the field. So your team does something good on or off the field, definitely submit to We Are Soccer, Michigan Soccer Central Team of the Week. Many thanks goes out to the Michigan Soccer Central core team. Thank you to the guests as always, and thank you, listener, for tuning in each and every week. Be sure to tell your friends and spread the word about this podcast. I hear from a number of people that they listen to it ardently, but there's still many Michigan soccer fans who aren't aware of the show. So please do your part and spread the word of the Michigan Soccer Central podcast. The more people getting involved, the more fun it will get. So another thank you to Jenny Hajnaki for editing the program and always, and to all the Michigan Soccer Central crew. And why not tip the hat to the listeners once more. So be sure to check out the episodes and the catalogs that are on Spotify and your favorite audio platforms. And also check out the YouTube. So we've been doing our part to try to fill up the YouTube channel as much as we can as well. Put the podcast and other video content on there. Try to get that subscriber level up to where all the other Michigan Soccer Central channels are. So until next week, everybody, please enjoy your soccer.